The Paul Gibson-directed episode The Laws of Motion, the second series finale, introduces us to rally driver and property owner Audrey McMurray. Mrs MacMurray, even though she might appear somewhat philanthropic, is a ruthless businesswoman with a heart of stone. Her heartless treatment of tenants, highlighting this point, caused Harriet Welsby's husband to kill himself. Mrs Welsby, in a confrontation that looks most satisfying, slaps Mrs MacMurray across the face. Further, in an unrelated storyline, Mrs MacMurray openly cheats on Walter with mechanic Gary Bakewell. Mrs MacMurray's sexual relationship with Mr Bakewell suddenly ends when he catches her with Sidney Sid Carter. Shortly thereafter, an accident that causes Lady Felicia Montague to scream like a banshee, Mrs MacMurray is killed in a hill climb. It is soon discovered someone had tampered with the car she was driving. The brake cables had been cut. Mrs Welsby, because of her earlier altercation with Mrs MacMurray, becomes Inspector Sullivan's prime suspect and is arrested. Later, when Mr Bakewell confesses, Father Brown suspects the young mechanic is trying to protect Mrs Welsby. The Catholic priest, not convinced either Mrs Welsby nor Mr Bakewell are responsible for Mrs MacMurray's untimely death, believes Mr MacMurray might have had a hand in his wife's demise. Father Brown, after visiting the MacMurray residence, discovers Mr MacMurray and his wife's secretary, Phyllis Stanike, have something they would rather Inspector Sullivan not know. Inspector Sullivan, constantly annoyed with Father Brown poking his nose in where it isn't wanted, isn't initially convinced Mr MacMurray or Miss Stanike capable of murder. Further to regular cast members Mark Williams, Sawka Cusack, Nancy Carroll, Alex Price, Tom Chambers, and John Burton, The Laws of Motion guest stars Tracy Ann Oberman, Amelia Lodell, Kian Barry, Oliver Meller, and Lisa Jackson.